Hello guys, welcome to another episode of Ripster Daily Trade Recaps and Daily Teachings. Hope everybody had an amazing day. Before we start, quick disclaimer, anything we discuss is just for educational purpose only, nothing is financial advice. Alright guys, another solid day, not because of the market did something initial morning, midday chop and end of day push, so we'll cover that. But today was a big day for the earning trades, the catalyst trade is where you make good account growth. So today you will learn about the earning strategies. We'll talk about the earning strategies. We'll talk about how to manage your QQQ SPX trades as well and Nasdaq trades as well. You will learn about that. Then you will also learn about we'll talk about one of the swing chart setups that we shared over the weekend that really worked out really well for the traders. Do you learn about one of those swing setups I talk so before we start, quick introduction for anybody who's new to our X accounts, new to our YouTube, or new to our community. By the way, tomorrow we have a trend webinar with the Trend Spider. We have a webinar with Trend Spider. The link is on my X account. Make sure you don't join it. You will learn about the Ripster EMA cloud system that has changed many lives, and the MTF cloud system and all my Ripster trading suite. You will learn everything about it. So make sure you join it tomorrow at 4:15 EST. All right, let's do the introduction here. So we trade a repeatable system called Ripster EMA cloud system, the trader which is traded by thousands of traders across the world. The system I have been teaching over from 8-9 years. You can go to ripstereducation.com, learn more about me, learn about the lives I have changed with my education. And it also involves a lot of the other concepts that I teach day in, day out. A lot of trading concepts, mental psychology, a lot of the things that I teach, which you can find out there. So we trade with the same system, with the same concept in our community, Tenet Trade Group, not an alert service, one of the largest live trading online educational community with which we have a lot of tools we provide to traders. We have option flow scanners, stock scanners, breaking news alerts, hold, unholds, order flow, tools worth $400-$500 are freely available for the traders, where I'm live on voice, I'm live on screen, first few hours of the market open, guiding the traders through the trade setups. We trade very systematically. We have a repeatable setup. Repeatable setup means something that happens. If it happens again, we will buy, we will sell, we will short, and we will repeat for all our life. At the end, when we win, like you will see today, we make a lot, and when we lose small. So the key is, when the trade is winning, you make a lot, right? So how do we plan it? We make a pre-market planning. We have the news earning plays. We divide it in earning plays, news plays, index stock plays. We have upgrades, downgrades. We do that. We create this plan in the pre-market live for the traders. Traders can watch this pre-market planning live and they can plan with it. We also have something called day 2 day 3 strategy, which is a webinar I did some time back on the day 2 day 3 strategy. It's a pretty good strategy. So we provide this plan to the traders as well. Reddit was a pretty big winner from our day 2 strategy. We also trade indices. We trade Mag 7, but you watch my playlists on all the YouTube playlists on SPY QQQ, so you understand when is the right time to trade, when is not a good time to trade, which is an A setup. You don't have to trade every day, which is a B- setup. We also trade crypto stocks. You can of course watch few of our big crypto trades in the recent weeks. Go to watch those shorts. We also provide future levels in the pre-market. We provide these future levels so traders can trade futures with Ripster EMA cloud system, and they can use my teachings and my guidance to trade the futures as well. We trade IPOs, we trade low floors. We have a low floor channel. We provide all the planning to the traders there. In the community, we have thousands of traders on our trading floor, trading all day, providing ideas, helping each other, to find those trade setups which we can all trade together to have big winners and small losers. So anyways, I will show you my timestamp guidance. I cannot show you what I do on the voice, but I will definitely show you my timestamp guidance, and so you can also learn from these teachings and you can utilize it in your own trades. Let's start. So let's start with the first play, Zoom. We have many plays on our game plan, right? So we do have many plays on our game plan. But you know, I watch all these at the open and I see something, I try to tell my traders what to do. Some of them will trigger, some of them will be not of my interest, so I will not guide on those. But if anything I guide on, I will say, show you if it was a loser or if it was a winner. There were only a couple of losers today on the guidance, but most were solid winners. And but my traders are already in those trades based upon our pre-market planning. So let's start. With Zoom. I made it red. I clearly made Zoom red. Support pivot 82s, resistance 84, bullish bias over all MTF clouds, no go under 8160. So that was the plan. So the plan was pretty clear on Zoom. So as you see, as soon as I saw that Zoom is holding these multi-time frame clouds, these are from a new trend spider, which we're going to cover in the webinars. As I saw that Zoom is holding up from the multi-time frame clouds right here on the multi-time frame clouds, it's holding those clouds and it's swiping up. That's when I told the traders to long it, because the reason I say that, because I have a clear risk level. I will cut it if it breaks that. But since already pushed over the pre-market highs, that was our long, so I gave the stops of 83 when I saw this. Actually, I told the traders to long much earlier on the voice, so traders were already long, and then we got this bull flag. I told the traders to hold the bull flag. Remember, bull flag, these are the bull flags. Bull flag, bull flag, another bull flag. So Zoom did multiple bull flags, and you do not cut. As long as the Ripster clouds there, you ride it. You do not cut, you ride this Ripster clouds all the way. So that's what we did. We just kept moving the stops up, up, up. We moved the stops to 84, as higher. The targets I gave were 88 and 88.71. We hit both our targets on 88 and 88.71. We hit both the targets. Then next target I gave was 90. We hit the 90 target. Even after that, we hit 91. So all you had to do is, if you buying, let's say you bought 84 here on the pullback, you risk $1, 1,000 shares, you risk 1,000. You know, by the end of the day, you made 7 grand. Even if you scaled out, you still made 4, 5, 6 grand. And if you were trading the options on Zoom, you know, they were really, you know, when you're trading at 82s, you take the 85 call, something close. Those options went from $1.20 all the way to $5. Your $1,000, $1,200 turning into $5,000. That's the power of the system, guys. That's how you have to prepare. Not only that, we also shared that Zoom is trying to break out. You see, this was a daily breakout. So you don't cut. Traders think, oh, we're gonna cut. You don't cut. It's a daily breakout. From that daily breakout, it ran another couple of you know, $2 from that daily breakout. So always look at your daily charts. And then when I told that Zoom exit, I send alert to exit Zoom and 512, right? So this is where you exit, and then you could short it for the 512 fade. So this is called Ripster repeatable 512 trade setups, you know. So that's how, you know, Zoom flushed. But this was a big trade for us. Pre-market planning, levels given, planning given, all over the MTF clouds, helping it, no BS. Learn this. But if you took out the Zoom just making 20% or $2 profit, that's not how you do it. You know it's breaking out on earnings, you know it's running over 512 clouds, you simply move the stops up. If you held your options, even if you have $1,000, by the time you closed, even if you lost $1 of profit here, that's fine. You respected the clouds, you still made 4 times your money. So that's why you need to hold. This is how you grow your stock, with earning setups. Grow your account with earning strategies. This is a Ripster gap and go MTF cloud setup. Repeat it for life. All right, so next one we're going to look at is KSS. So let's look at what was KSS. KSS was a similar gap and go setup. Let's take a look. Let's go there. KSS. So let's go there. Let's look at the pre-market planning. So KSS, I highlighted as a red because we traded a similar stock in a similar sector, which was raw stores. It also ran after the earnings. So I said trade versus 20, gap and crap, breakout over pre-market highs. The planning was given to the traders. You know, as soon as you see the breakout over the pre-market high, you take it long. You do not think twice. So I told the traders take it long. It pushed, it pulled back a little. Our stops were 20, but it was also holding this 512 clouds. You see this, holding 512 clouds. when we got it long. So you do not stop out because it's holding these cloud levels, and we also drew this range, and you see if you want to draw a bigger range, you see it was staying above that range. So your stops, even at if in 2050, you know, you had like $60-70 stops. So then we added the dips, trader added the dips, and then you just had to do was ride it all day. It did stop out here, many traders, but this concept is called reclaim. The reclaim is even more bullish. Reclaim is even more bullish, and it continued to run towards the $22. This whole sector was bullish. You need to know the sector: Target, TJ Maxx, you know, Walmart, Ross, you know, and you have to see the daily chart setups. They are breaking out. When you're playing the earning play, just don't really literally look at in intraday. You also look at the setup. So this concept is called Ripster 512 cloud. Even if you stop out, you get back in this curl. It's even more bullish. If you get some choppy action like this, you go to the 30-minute chart. 30-minute chart will give you a better picture, so you can hold your trades better if you cannot manage with the 10-minute chart, but you definitely don't need to go under that. All right, so next what we're going to look at is ANF. So let's take a look at the next setup. ANF, this is a 30-minute chart. Let's go to the 10-minute chart. So ANF, initially, let's go to the pre-market planning. Number one top earning play, cautious gap and crap under 70.50. We had a neutral bias. I had a neutral bias. I thought it could gap and crap, but it was holding the MTF clouds. It was holding the MTF clouds. Earnings and MTF clouds, a great combination. You know, you don't get to see it much, but that was a great combination. So as soon as I saw that, I told the traders on ANF, I said long over the pre-market highs, you know, put your stops under 77. So when you see this breaking out, or even you can get this pullback, you add long, you put your 77. I told the trader it's holding, we need more volume, need to see more volume. As it broke out, you know, we continued to push. I told the traders to put the stops at 80. Now Abercrombie has a history of running, so you respect the clouds, hold it. I gave the next target to 85. We continue to move the stops up, you know, and then we moved our stops to 80. You see how we moved stops up from 86 to 87 to 88, and it still kept on running to 90 bucks. You know, even with 1,000 shares, you know, risking $1,500, you could make 10 grand there. Or even if you scaled out, you could easily make 7 grand there. You know, the options on Abercrombie, which were a little spready, but you do not need too many of those. If you took the 84 lottos on ANF, which were pretty illiquid, so, you know, but it still went from like $1 all the way to $6, you know, $1,000 and 6,000 and 100 into 600. Learn my options teachings before you trade options. It's not that simple, but anyways, I was also showing the traders the last time we shorted ANF in an earning play, big huge short. We faded from 98 to 88. Again, we made on 1,000 shares 10 grand set up there as well. So that's the power of earning plays, guys. No hindsight, no BS, live guidance right in front of you. Let's go to the next one. All right, so next setup on our earning plays was keys. Let's take a look at keys. So keys was a gap and crap versus 200 setup. Let's take a look here. So keys, pre-market planning, profit target raised by Citi, JP Morgan, Morgan Stanley, everybody raised the profit targets. Long if 200 holds or 205 breakout. So 200 did not hold. Psychological level, you gap and crap it. You took a short right away, and from that short 199 we went to 189. Even if you took 197, you still made lot of dollars there, you know. And finally we exited when the 512 curls. You can always draw your Fibonacci on your short setups. You see it's bouncing on 0.5 Fibonacci. Keys was a beautiful gap and crap winner. All right, so next the setup was Baba. Baba also had earnings, one of our top plays. You know, the plan was to be bullish bias versus the MTF confluence, but when it broke violently, I told the traders to gap and crap it. You know, it broke the 30-50 clouds. Look at these levels we gave in the pre-market. You see the level 163, 167. So once it breaking the 163, there is no long. You do not touch it long because it's going into the MTF cloud air gaps, you know, MTF cloud air gaps that we call them, and they flushed into that and bap and crap. You know, it faded. Even if you get a little late, 162s, even, you know, you still got a fade towards 156. We finally got out here, but it did a fail. It's similar to the curls on 512, you know, that I showed you on the other stock. Similarly, it's opposite. If it fails the curl, you can short it again. Little choppy, you know, little choppy, but definitely was a winner on a gap and crap there on BABA. All right, so let's talk about SPY QQQ here. It was a beautiful today. SPY QQQ was beautiful. It was a morning short with a VIX strategy. Very volatile day today. If you look at it carefully, you see what SPY does. SPY traded 50% ATR on the downside, ran from 602 all the way to 597, $5. QQQ and SPY ran from 668 to 664, almost $4 fade. Tried to bounce, failed once again, and then it curled later in the day. So the trades were in the morning. So what was the plan? Let's go look at the plan. It's the same plan for SPX, NASDAQ futures, whatever you want to trade. The plan is the same. I just put it as SPY QQQ because most traders trade SPY QQQ. Only long market over previous day highs or pre-market highs. If VIX goes under 20, that's when you long the market. Simple strategy. I have been teaching you every day. If VIX breaks under 20 over the pre-market highs, yesterday highs, you long the market. If VIX pushes, short it. If VIX pushes or holds 20, you short it. So that's what happened. Let's look at VIX here. So if you look at VIX carefully, in the morning, the first move VIX did was breakout, and that's when you take the short. So that's why I told the traders QQQ shorts right at the open. I told the traders to cover at some 600. It flushed into 597. Traders already doubled their money on that fade. Same thing for SPY and SPX. You know, I told the traders to short it. You know, to short it the later the flush and hit the MTF target. Traders made double their money on SPX options, puts, or whatever. So now that was a morning move, right? So VIX flush. Now watch carefully. When in the middle of the day, this is the chop zone. You know, you see I created these circles as a chop zone. This was a chop zone. Let me see. This was a chop zone. So you need to be very careful because there's a lot of resistance here. Remember what I said in the pre-market. You long over the yesterday's highs, right? You long over the yesterday highs, and that's what SPY did. SPY broke out of the yesterday highs just like a pre-market plan. That's where the traders took long on SPY QQQ. You know, I asked my traders how they're doing all day. You can see that a lot of traders were long on that. They were short initially, they were short, and then a lot of traders were long as well in over there in the middle of the day. So you can go to the 30 minutes. So short this morning move, be careful in this chop, get back long again, watch what the indices are doing, watch what VIX is doing. The plan was to long when 20 breaks on VIX and the market breaks the previous day high. If you go to 30-minute chart, it's pretty clear. So when that was happening, I told the traders to use the ATR target, QQQ targets. Also, I gave the MTFs. Although QQQ was a curl right here, good entrance versus MTF. This was a chop zone. You need to keep your size small when you see these candles because otherwise you will be getting in, getting out, and the stock will run without you. But the main focus is VIX fade from 20 all the way to 18. Market ran, SPY ran, SPX ran. So that was the good trade setups. This is how you trade SPY, QQQ, SPX, NASDAQ futures with the VIX strategy. Watch the full playlist, learn more, or come to the community, watch my 2.5 webinar on SPY, QQQ. You will be an expert trader there. Let's go to the next one. All right, so next one we're going to quickly look at it is Apple. So what was Apple doing here? Let's take a look here. Let's go to the daily chart and take a look at the Apple. So Apple, our plan was to trade the morning breakout. Apple daily breakout if the bullish market breakout over 277.30, and it was working pretty nicely initially, but you know when market pulls back, it's going to pull back the Apple. So you have to get back right in that breakout, right in this breakout, scalp it as it hits 280, 10 a.m. It gave you a few chances to get out, and then when it broke, you got out, right? So Apple was our breakout long in the morning, but when market is heavy, it's not going to work, but you have to be fast. You see the pre-market planning, no hindsight, be ready for this. But when it couldn't push over the 10 a.m. highs, it was done of the day. Also note, it did its 100% ATR in the first 30 minutes alone, first 10 minutes alone. All right, so let's look at next one. Next one we're going to cover is Google. So Google, you know, bullish news yesterday, yesterday, and you know, and today pre-market also bullish news hit for trillion, right? So it hit the 4 trillion market cap, and that kind of was a top for it for today. Once it hit 4 trillion, it pulled back. I was not interested to do anything on the Google initially this move, so I had no interest. The plan on Google was 4 trillion at 332s, only long over the pre-market highs. Only long over the pre-market highs. It kind of didn't even get there. It broke down, became bearish. You do not do anything here. If you're short scalping, you can short it. But when this came, when I see this rejection, this is called Ripster 34.55.12 rejection, that's when I told the traders, be very careful. There's a big seller on 328. We use Bookmap to see the sellers. So we saw a big seller on Bookmap at 328. I told the traders, you can short it, put your stops over 328, and from there on it went on to fade. You can see that I told the traders my warnings, and it was very, very heavy, and it provided the traders amazing short in middle of the day, which we got out at this calls. All right, let's look at the next one. Next one we were trading was Burlington Factory. It was a short at the open, but it didn't really work out. I mean, it did give us $3-4, but that's not what we wanted to do. So we took it off when it started to bounce. We shorted the BURL, and bear flag, but when it didn't go lower after 10 a.m., we closed the short and bounce, a little scratch loser there, because it didn't give us more. So you see how we have to be proactive. That's why I told the traders that it's going to bounce towards 512. Watch out the bounces. So you have to proactively cover here, because if you wait till there, that's an $8 loss. You cannot afford to do that. So you have to be a little flexible with your setups when you do that. And that was our plan on BURL. Bearish buys, so short under pre-market lows, long over 272s, but it kind of when you see this candle, this spoiled the setups. If we didn't have this red candle, we could have taken a short here and we would have gotten a much better trade. All right, next one we're going to look at is NVO. The bias was correct, but we kind of mismanaged. I had a little not a good guidance there, but I did say 1 hour MTF long, so it kind of pushed, rejected. So when it was rejecting this, I told the traders, just we left it alone, but I did tell them support is 46 if somebody want to hold it, and then it did hold the clouds and bounced and pushed to 47.21. Might be a good swing setup, but didn't work for us today. But what did work for us was Lily, right? So Lily was an amazing trade for us in the community, because Lily was also a breakout move. Crazy, running like a penny stock. Lily, you can watch our previous trades on Lily as well. So Lily, the pre-market plan, neutral bias, long over yesterday highs. Simple plan, long over yesterday highs. You can trade Lily X, you can trade leverage ETFs, whatever you want to trade. A lot of traders were trading Lily, and Emerald was on Lily right at the open. Renegade was long. Frying Pan had 1100 calls, and so the plan was given to the traders, and even I was on the voice. I told that you can hold, you can push to your target of 1100, and we hit the 1100 and even pushed more, and then a lot of traders stopped out here. But remember, another concept of the 512 reclaim. When something reclaims the 512 clouds, it's even more bullish. Understand this concept. You can get back in long there. Even more bullish when 512 reclaims. All right, let's look at quickly a wrap up here with few small plays. OKLO, we had OKLO was a morning short. PLTR initial morning short into from 160 to 156, and then we curled over these the clouds. OKLO was a short all day. We closed the shorts here. You could make almost $7 profit here on OKLO short, and that was my guidance to short OKLO day to short. And you can see the pre-market planning all given here. PLTR short under the MTF, OKLO short under the 90 and MTF. So it was a beautiful trade. It was our day 2 setups. There was another day 2 setup which was a pretty good. That one was Reddit. So you need to be ready for these names. Even if they don't have any news, you need to be ready. So Reddit was a day 2 long, and also a 200 psychological level. Amazing call by the traders in the community on Reddit. Simply killed it. Great guidance there. D4 dips, really good mentions there as well. A lot of traders were long on Reddit, psychological level. The plan was pretty very clear on the longs, bullish over 200, long over 198, and there was an MTF cloud there as well. So that was Reddit. Let's see what else we did there. We did try some calls in the at end of the day, which was a little choppy calls. We had to stop out. That was AMD, but then it gave us some beautiful calls later in the day. Let's take a look here. So when AMD was trying to do this call, it initially did not work for us. It chopped us out. Morning we were short on AMD from 200, went on to 194. That was on our pre-market plan. You can see that AMD trade versus 200, call over 204, no go under 200. So call over 204 and no go under 200. So it was basically a short. We were short on AMD from 200, and then short. We got good fades here, but we finally closed the short here. Then we tried to play the calls, right, versus 197.50. We played the calls versus this 197.50. It did hold the 197.50 for us. You see here was a little choppy. You see here it was a little choppy. Our target was 200, and it pushed to 201 and then went on to the chop, kind of, that's when you go to the 30-minute chart. But then it broke out of the 200. A lot of traders took a risk of 200, took a position right here. It was a power hour, it was a 512 call. You can see that I took that long right at this call, was risking putting a stops on 200 at 70 cents, and we got lucky with the squeeze because this was a little cup and handle on AMD, and then it went on to give us a nice little move here all the way. I think I stopped. I took most of the profits to 05. I think few shares left here, but you can see that this was a power hour call setup. It was a very choppy initially, but this was a power hour call setup, and it gave us a nice trade in the community. End of the day, we got a lucky push over $5 there. All right, let's wrap up with the swing trading lesson here, the swing trade that we had. So this weekend I posted a chart on our team, and we posted a chart on Tenet charts. You have to browse your charts, right? If you want to find this, if you want to find these trade setups to make money in the markets, you need to go through the hundreds of charts. You need to see what makes sense to you. So Chipotle, which had sold off a long time, if you look at the chart, it has been bearish for a long time. It sold off big time recently, from the $40 all the way to $30, right? So not going out of the business, but you see base going up, going down, held 29, going up, going down, held, going up, going down. It built a reversal setup, which I often teach you. I have how to buy the consolidation setups, so you can see that how it was setting up for a reversal. So if you look here, what I mentioned here on let me see if I show you guys here. Let me see where it goes. What I said was Chipotle basing at 30 level, risk reward is good to trade versus 29.70. We will stop out versus 29.70. 1 hour is turning bullish. We want other Ripster clouds to turn bullish as well. So you take that position, you take that position at 31, 32 breakout. You can start a position 32 breakout, and it hit all the way to 33.40, right? You're risking $1.50. You're already up, covered your risk. And then this is kind of the swing trade. We see how it goes, but this is how you find your setups. This is one of our repeatable swing setups that I teach in my swing webinars, gap fill swing setup. As you see that, no hindsight, in the pre-market we planned that, so and you have to, we've been talking about Meta as well. I told the traders we have about the swing on Meta, which was a similar setup. Let's take a look here. Meta was, so Meta reclaim of 600 can be a long versus 595. So you need to analyze your charts, find these support levels. You see where the support is. That is the 600 psychological level. It has bounced from that particular area before. You risk 600, you buy 600, you risk 595, you take a position, and you can see that what Meta did today. From that 600, you are already up $35. You risk $5, you are up $35. You risk $500, you're up $3,500. That's how you trade, how find these swing setups, and now that VIX is under 18, many swing setups will likely to work. Similar thing was that I talked about AMD on the swing. I think I tweeted about it as well. On AMD, we had our 200 level on AMD, so you can check out our Tenet charts platform. You can see that I told the traders to swing versus 200 psych, and and it flushed and reclaimed 200, so you can do that. So that's how you do the swing trades, guys. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful day. If the VIX stays under 18, we might get back to the bullish bounces here. If VIX bounces again over 20, we'll have to be very careful. Learn these teachings, implement these teachings, you know, and if you want to join the community, trade with us, join. We have our Thanksgiving promo going on. Take care. See you. Bye bye.